When you're looking to change retail, you've got to go digital marketing. So one of the things we did is why try to be the expert when you could hire an expert? We've done a really terrible job of capturing reviews on our sites. At the end of the day, you're only as good as what people will perceive you to be. And if people aren't pushing that review button and leaving those positive reviews, you kind of get left in the wind sometimes.
Hello, everyone. It's Sean from Thrive with another episode of the Power Up, where I meet with successful small business owners and operators to learn about their business strategy so you can take their insights and level up your own business. Once your business is ready to expand, knowing where to start can be overwhelming. Our guests have some creative solutions for how they've tackled tricky problems and turned them into growth opportunities. Now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everyone. Our guest today is Sid Fernandez. He's the general manager of Classic Caladiums. Classic Caladiums was founded in the year 2000 with a mission to control the quality and growth of new caladiums. Inspired by a deep passion for horticulture, Sid and their team aim to bring more life and color to landscapes everywhere. Classic Caladiums is unique in the industry for the innovative genetics, boasting over 100 patents on various caladium varieties. Since selling the first product in 2007, they have grown to supply 65% of the world's caladiums. Their business is dedicated to growing and exporting top caladium plants and bulbs, continuously pushing the envelope on what is possible with this vibrant plant. Their biggest success being renowned globally for the diverse and groundbreaking caladium varieties. Sid, you ready to get started with us today?
Yes, after you read that amazing intro, absolutely. I'm revved up.
Awesome. Let's get going. So first off, let's just start. Why caladiums? Why is that the plant of choice here?
Well, because I work for them, that'd probably be number one. But if there's a close second, being someone who's very new to the horticulture world, only coming into this world about 6 months ago in December. Listen, we're so used to color coming from flowers. I mean, there's very few plants that you can really turn to and say, holy crap, look at those beautiful colors. Usually we turn to poinsettias when we really look at color in plants. This plant is just so different. We're about to commence a fitting campaign, which is color by flower color without flowers. Woo, good fumble there. Color without flowers. I think what makes caladiums pretty amazing is absolutely the vibrancy that it adds to any landscape, whether it's a pot, whether it's your house, whether it's an office, whether it's something you want to put in a windowsill. You don't see the amount of variety of color on a plant that you can get from a caladium. With the amount of varieties that we have, whichever one is your oyster, you can pick it. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is quite amazing. The intelligence and the memory bank of a caladium is pretty darn outstanding. This plant pretty much knows the second you scorn it, it's kind of like a Latina, like my wife. Once you've done something to it once, it's always going to remember it and it'll never forget it. And that's pretty amazing we look at plants as not something that's living or with a memory bank, but these plants are really astounding and amazing. So that's the reason for caladiums.
That's great. And how many SKUs do you think you carry, if you could ballpark it?
So I can't go off of SKUs because once, SKUs for us are different sizes once you get into varieties. But right now, active varieties in rotation are about 120, but we really sell about 82 to 87 different varieties at a pretty high clip. But available varieties, probably just around 100.
Okay. And then where do you do most of your business? Do you do primarily retail or do you do a lot, mostly e-commerce?
No, right now, our balance currently is about 92% wholesale, 95 wholesale, and then whatever's left over is retail. There's definitely a focus on the other side, and this is, I think, a cool part of the conversation with Thrive and what this tool can do if you're trying to grow your retail side of things. But yeah, our business is a majority of it is definitely wholesale.
Okay, that's great. Well, talk to me a little bit about the cool part about wholesale with retail, what you're kind of alluding to there. So it sounds like you're maybe doing more in the retail space, or trying to do more at the retail space, or what are you looking at here?
Yeah, so we have a goal the next 3 years. We want to grow our retail side to be about 10 to 12% of our business. Listen, we all know that we make more money on the retail side. It's a known fact across the board, no matter what industry you're in. We love our wholesale clients, but the world has changed. The consumer is going direct. They're not going to the Home Depots for plants as much as they used to. Yes, that's still where you're seeing it. Your IGCs, or your garden clubs, or any other place that you normally get plants at. All right, nurseries as well. People are just changing. They want it at the click of a button. For us, it's how do we continue to bring in more revenue, obviously continue to bring up our profits in an ever-changing world. For us, again, going back to Thrive, I'm not really trying to boast you guys. We pay for you for what we get with you guys, but for us, it's a massive tool what we do. We have a ton of product. I mean, by the time of beginning of our retail season, we're sitting at about 3 million bulbs of product that's in our retail spot. To be able to handle that on a notepad or old school, like Old Testament type stuff, just won't function. But that growth is going to be big for us as the world continues to change in the way we shop.
Sure. So talk to me a little bit about the strategy you guys have for the next year for growing that retail percentage. What are you looking at?
So first and foremost, is getting away from the archaic way of doing things. We kind of took over the mass market share. We've done an amazing job of becoming the kings of our niche, of our domain. We love all Caladium growers because we love Caladiums. We do. But there's a stark difference between the type of business that we do and the type of business that some of the smaller Caladium growers. And this is not to toot our own horn, but when you look at the growers right now currently that are in place, they process daily during their harvest season about 40 to 50,000 bulbs a day. We do 10 times that. So we're doing about 400 to 500,000 bulbs a day. That means that is going through our line, going through a burner, going through water, touching hands. It's a lot to go through.
Sure.
So once we realize that, hey, things are changing, we really need to we need to do better by the way our systems, it's only going to make our customer service better, right? Our original system was not a bad one. I think we used BigCommerce before making the switch over to Shopify. We feel that the tools that Shopify provides was ginormous. Then we just needed that one tool for inventory that would allow to bring everything together. And that's where we felt that Thrive was just that piece. So once you understand the tools and what they can do, now it's setting forth. We knew that year one was going to be a tough year. You're going to go through the hurdles, go through some of the issues we had. Not that it was app specific, but we had some issues with Thrive, which I know we'll get into during this call. But once you really understand those tools, polish them off, get them a little bit dirty and figure it out, you're like, man, this thing's kind of revving. Right now we're at the phase where we understand the tools we've got. Now we're realizing, okay, our season normally ends. Our retail season normally ends on the 30th of this month. Well, guess what?
Okay.
Got these really cool tools now. Let's push it. Can we sell into July with better tools in our hands? So now it's the testing phase, right? It's kind of like a baker. We've done a tiramisu, we've done a flan, but can we make it a little bit better? Can we spruce it up a bit? And that's where we're at right now. And I think it's working really, really well, man.
That's great. So, would love to talk about like sales and marketing strategy here. So, going retail and pushing the retail envelope is going to need a new strategy. So, where are you thinking the channels are for you? Is it digital marketing? Is it going to events and biz dev and partnerships, or like what's the growth strategy here from a marketing and sales perspective?
So it's a good question, right? So it's two-pronged, right? Conferences, conventions, and the shaking hands, kissing baby stuff, it's a big thing. You have to do those things, right? To kind of move in those circles, to get into the right networking groups, you got to do that. That's, truth be told, that's more your wholesale guys. When you go to these conferences or conventions, they're massive, and you're shaking hands, you're meeting people, trying to figure out if we can do things a little bit different, figure out partnerships, and those are great. At a wholesale level, I believe that there's some remnants left over for retail focus. Maybe presentation, way people are using pots, maybe other ways to add SKUs down the line on a Shopify or maybe potentially drop ship. But when you're looking to change retail, you've got to go digital marketing. So one of the things we did is, why try to be the expert when you could hire an expert? We hired an amazing team of guys at a company called ECD. Zach Cassidy, Dorian, and his group of people have just been phenomenal. From setting us up with Shopify, setting us up with Thrive. They were really the proponents of Thrive. They're huge users of you guys, huge pushers of that product. And then looking for how do we market, right? We know that email marketing works. As annoying as it is to the end user, it works. It's just the facts. SMS use as well. Then using and that data bank that you're collecting off of that web media or that push, now reusing that to say, hey, leave us a review. We've done a really terrible job of capturing reviews on our sites. I think we're currently sitting at about 32 to 35. We have 3,500 retail clients a year. So that's another thing of focus. At the end of the day, you're only as good as what people perceive you to be. And if people aren't pushing that review button, and leaving those positive reviews, you kind of get left in the wind sometimes. So like I said, it's a two-prong approach in the way we focus on the two different levels of business. Social media is another avenue we are now finally taking a dive into, a much more serious dive into. It's something you have to. It's hard to sell something that's like monotone, like, okay, it's black. This is a mouse. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a product that sells itself, the second you see it's like, and we're not utilizing it, we should kick ourselves in the butt. But listen, man, it's all layered. You can't do everything perfect at once. You've got to learn it as you go. And I think we're in that mindset now, which is phenomenal.
Okay. And as far as like tech stack goes, so email marketing, what do you use for email marketing?
Klaviyo. We have Klaviyo, which is also run by our digital marketing company. Luckily, I've been able to dig myself into it to kind of understand the systems. It's a great system. It really has been. We've had no issues with it at all. More user error than anything else, but it has been a great tool, especially for your bigger retailers. It's a great way to keep in contact with your people. The majority of our clients are a little bit older, 50 and above.
Okay.
So you don't get as much. Your open rate's not going to be super high, but our vision is to really make Caladiums pop, not just in the 50 and above. We need to make this a plant that even people who just bought a house in their late 20s and early 30s want to love and place. So.
Sure. Yeah. And then what are you using for your review capturing?
So review capture is also Klaviyo. Klaviyo sends those requests directly through text message and email to get people to use. We've also created our links, send them to people that we know, sending them to the emails. We want to get a little bit deeper into see how we can figure out reviews on the spot of the order, but it's a little bit tougher for us. We want people to feel the bulb, see it, see how it grows, and then leave a review. So for us, a little bit different to capture those things. We've created a campaign that launches at the beginning of July, as our heavy months of sales are really March, April, May. You really start to see the growth of these plants right around June, July timeframe. So we wanted to wait a little bit, really get people to love the product once it's come out of the ground, and then really capture that. So for those who are maybe in a little bit more of a delayed industry where it's not an initial love of something, you got to take some time. I propose that you start building those programs or those campaigns ahead of time to say, hey, we want to give them 6-8 months lead time or 8 weeks lead time to then capture that review to say, hey, how do you really love it? Something else that I've turned to that's really positive reviews to someone that it could help. I think we initially want to get rid of bad reviews. It's never something that you want, right? We had an instance this year. We had a lady who, the Caladium world is kind of shrinking in a way. You're seeing less and less farms. Most farms of Caladiums are family-based.
Okay.
A lot of people are leaving. The younger kids don't want to be in farming, X, Y, and Z, whatever it may be. One of the more well-known companies just shut down. This year, they made a big post, and it sucks. It pains us, and I mean that honestly. We want more people in the Caladium space, whether they're competition or not. But we've had people now come to us because of our name, because of the genetics, whatever it may be. Well, we had someone who came to us, and it didn't go well at all. We had a lot of issues. Right around the April timeframe, had a ton of issues in inventory, not application-wise, just on our side that were just messed up. And again, I'd love to get into that even deeper because I think it definitely helped your peeps. She left a bad review, and it was not a pretty one. It was long, it was detailed, and we reached out to her directly. So on the MS, just said, you had every right to write this. She gave us a call. We spoke about it. She ordered again, and when she ordered again, she deleted it. So I think it's a big thing if you can look at the bad in a review, face it, be honest about it, and flip the script. It is much easier. It's much better to convince someone who already dislikes you and then convince them that your product is good than someone who's kind of neutral. So it's a cool moment. And I always share that because I think there are people either new in business, not new in business, that it could definitely help to not hide the bad stuff. Because every business goes through it. Everyone has a blemish. It's how you recover from it, I think, is really the most important.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that story. So Klaviyo is handling everything from texting communication to email communication and review capturing and all that, right? All right. Correct. So if you're hearing this and you're not using Klaviyo, definitely check them out.
Definitely.
All right. So let's start wrapping up here. We have basically the way we close this out is we have 5 rapid fire questions. We ask all of our customers here. They're a lot of fun. So number 1, what would you say is your fastest growing sales and marketing channel?
Fastest growing sales and marketing channel. Currently, Facebook. Just by looking at the numbers, we really had no business and no sales through Facebook in the previous years. Our website has grown this year, but
Okay.
for us, Facebook and Instagram just far surpasses the growth. And if you look at percentage,
Okay. What would you say is your favorite resource? It can be like a blog or a YouTube channel, a book, something along those lines to grow your skills or to grow your business.
let's go to the next one. 'Cause I'm gonna think about that one because I'm thinking about
Okay.
the tools that we've used. Go to question two, and we'll end
Sure.
with question two.
Yeah. What piece of tech can you not live without in your business?
Currently, Shopify. Truth be told, Shopify is just it makes things everything easier. You pay a little bit more than probably some other apps, but right now,
Mhm.
and then again, I'm focusing much more on the retail space from here on out. Shopify to us is the biggest tool that we've got, honest to God. So
Yeah. Are you using any sort of the fun new AI stuff in any capacity in your business?
So we've dabbled in it. The cool thing is our creative team loves AI, knows a lot of the different forums for those AIs. A couple nights of drinking, at night, and you get a little bit bored. You start messing with these AIs. It's crazy what you can create, man. And the fact that Adobe and
Mhm.
Photoshop has added it to their arsenal as well just shows you the direction we're going in. I think you're going to see a lot more creative stuff being done with AI in the next 6 months from our team as we can
Yep.
continue to grow our library, our content library.
Cool. Number 4, what piece of advice do you have for any business owner that's really, really ready to start growing their business?
Take your gloves off, man. Get your hands dirty. I think right now you have a lot of people that love to say that they're entrepreneurs and be in business. You got to really get dirty. And I think even for businesses that have been around long enough, the leaders or your guys that are, the heads of those companies at times get a little bit lax. They don't understand or they don't remember to check the pulse of every department. Don't have to know how to do surgery, but you at least got to know the blood pressure. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a
Sure.
little bit more medical terms, but that's the biggest thing. If you're leading a team in this business that you have, make sure you always understand the pulse, understand what's actually going on. It put us in a bad bind this year, not fully understanding it. Season for us is deep. It's a lot. It's long days. It can be daunting. But at the end of the day, our number one focus has to be what every department's doing to make sure everything's oiled up properly.
Sure. All right, let's go back to number 2. You got a resource for me?
So, man, listen, I can't tell you direct resource and by, let's say, YouTube, because that's really my biggest place. YouTube, I think everyone turns to for any type of knowledge. TikTok's fun and you can learn some stuff, but really YouTube is it. In the space of horticulture, there's so many great influencers. You've really got to figure out who is the real one to you. Everyone's got a video face when you're doing content, but there's a lot of really great, like I say, influencers, experts that are out there that can really teach you the basics. For anybody watching this, I think this is more geared to your entrepreneurs. To me, I gather anybody that'll teach me something. And there's tons of content through YouTube. I wish I can give you one direct one. Right now, the last couple of weeks have been purely hockey. For those hockey, I'm a
Yeah.
Panther fan, so it was a long
Congrats.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. But for me personally, it's constantly educating yourself, and YouTube is an endless space of knowledge. If there's one thing you can't say in today's world is, oh, I don't know where to find it. Well, dude, just use Google or YouTube. You'll find it. So
Cool.
abuse it, man.
All right, and last question, where can our listeners find you?
Where can listeners find us? ClassicCaladiums.com. You can find us at Classic Caladium. I'm not going to give you guys our Facebook or Instagram page because there's really nothing to share or follow at the moment. Our Facebook is quite busy. You're more than welcome to come to us. But ClassicCaladiums.com. If you put Caladiums in the Google form, we'll come up. We are the largest exporter in the world. And we're proud of it. And we look forward to continuing to better what we do. We don't care to hoard every buyer of Caladiums. What we want is people happy with their Caladiums at the end of the day. So that's where you can find us, bud.
That's great. All right, everyone, that's it from Classic Caladiums. Selling Caladiums around the world, 95% wholesale right now, trying to grow the retail about 10 to 15% over the next year. 3,500 plus retail customers around the world. I'm really looking forward to growing the next year. Thanks a lot, Sid.
No, thank you, man. Have a great day. All right. Thanks a lot.
Take it easy.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Power Up by Thrive. I hope you enjoyed our deep dive into strategies that you can use to grow your business. If you're ready to take these ideas into the real world, head over to thrivemetrics.com. That's THRIVEMETRICS.com to sign up for a 30-day free trial of our business management software.